Hey guys, what's up? It's Man456, NexusNation.com. I'm back with another video tutorial, and this one's going to be basically going over setting the guides for your .9 PNG once you edit them, and using Eclipse to re-sign it to get rid of the guides. Now, first, what I have here is I have three media buttons, and I also have the status bar closed that I actually made with you guys in the last video. I'm going to do this in two parts because it's probably going to be a little longer than the normal. So let's get started. I basically took one of the buttons and opened it up in Photoshop. And basically what I did was I recolored it red. And I'm going to save this now to desktop. Okay, I'm going to replace the other one that's there. Okay, now I have the new red button. So now this button here, if I put it in the phone and I run it in the phone, it's actually going to get really pixelated, off size. That's going to look really bad because the guides are off now. So what you would need to do is in your tools folder in your SDK, you have a little application in there called Draw 9 Patch, which I have open here on the right hand side. It's fairly simple to get the icon in it. You just drag it over and it'll actually open up. I'll make this a little bit bigger, and you could scale it, you know, as far as how close you see it and stuff like that. And these buttons are fairly easy. What I would do is start closer to the thing, to the top of the icon, and start with a line on the right hand side and go all the way down. You don't have to go all the way down to the bottom. You basically want to keep it as even, and that's about right there. You're also going to need one on the bottom. Okay. Now, if you use the right button on your mouse pad or on your laptop or whatever you're using, you could actually delete the dots that you're making on it. And what I would do with this is I basically set one in the middle, one or two. You can do, you know, however you'd like, and then set another two on the left hand side. Now this button has all the guides set, and if you look on the right hand side, you can see that the icon is actually taking shape. So any which way this will stretch, it's gonna look good. Now what you do is you come right here and you save the patch. Now when you go back to your desktop, now you have the same icon, but you actually have the guide set, as you can see. Now once you have the guide set, what you're basically going to do is you're going to use Eclipse to keep it signed but remove those lines. Some people like to know, if you have several buttons which are the same, do you need to go back into Draw 9 Patch and do guides for those two, because they're never going to really come out the same. So a little trick that I learned was you can bring these in here and don't set any guides, just save them back. It's actually going to give the spacing of the guides without actually setting any. Now you can close this out, and you open the one you started with that has the guides, right? And I zoom in, and what I do is I use this tool here, which is like a cut tool, and I'll take and I'll cut right to the border of each of the guides. Right? Now, right click and layer via cut. Now I have the guides on a separate layer, separate from the actual icon itself. Once this is done, you're ready to take the next step, which is open up one of the other ones. Now, saying that this would be just recolored, which I didn't recolor it, but it would be recolored red, like, you know, whatever color you're making it, and you just drag your guides over to this one. Now you have guides on that. Control Shift S and PNG, and right in here, since it will save it, it'll save it as a PNG. It won't save it as a .9. You just have to add the .9 and then save to desktop, and it automatically finds the other one. It's going to ask you to replace it, and you do that. You replace it, and now you have both icons with the guides. But remember, you have to go into Draw 9 Patch first and drop them in there, and then save it from there, because if not, it's not going to give you the correct spacing that you need for the guides. Okay, now once you've done that and you have your guidelines all set up, you're gonna have to run Eclipse. Now if you don't have Eclipse set up, you might want to do that. I use Eclipse. I put it right in my tools folder and I have Eclipse going there. And I'm going to show you a little bit of how to set up Eclipse because mine is already set up. So you run Eclipse. Now the workspace I use is the actual tools folder. Okay, so you browse and you set it to your SDK tools folder. Do OK. It's going to run a little bit and it'll actually open up. Now, once you have Eclipse open, I already have it set up, so you actually see on the left hand side here, you see the Hello Activity folder. But if you're doing an initial setup, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to Software Updates and Available Software, and you're going to add a site. In this location, what you're going to want to add is this. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. It's not going to be as easy as copy and paste, but I made it fairly big so you guys could see it. And I'm going to leave it up for a little while in case you guys want to just jot it down or something. Okay. Okay, now you're going to do that is the location. Once you've done that and you add the site, it's going to actually come up here and you'll see http://dl-ssl.google.com/android/eclipse/. Now you select the box here and then you install the update. This is actually going to give you the option to have, when you open file here and you do new and you do project here, it'll give you an Android project option, which normally it wouldn't give you there. Now you select new project, and also what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set up in window here, preference. You're just going to want to go to Android once you've done that and set the location of your SDK. Once you do that, you're going to get a listing of all the stuff you have in your SDK. You push apply, OK. Now that's basically set up. Now once you do new project, you're going to get a window that looks like this if you push next, right? Now in the top, you're going to push hello, capital H, activity, capital A, right? And you're going to create a new project because you don't have one set up. And automatically you're going to have a listing of whatever you have in your SDK because it's actually linked now. And you know, you select your 2.1 and you run hello activity and it all should pop up here. You're going to get all that. It's going to give you an option to put next and you're all set up. Once that's done, you're going to get this little option here. And now this is where you're going to want to drop in your new your icons with the guides. Now you open Res, you have drawable HDPI, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to drop it right into the folder, not down here but in the folder, and it'll actually show up here. If you don't get any errors, that means that it basically has the guide set up the way it needs it. Now once it's in there, it's as simple as export. No, sorry about that. You're actually going to right click on Hello Activity and you're going to have Android Tools. Export unsigned application package. It'll give you actually where you want to save it. And I'm going to save it right to my desktop. Okay. Now, in this file, you have Res, you have your drawable HDPI, and I'll have my new button, which I just created without the guides, and you could copy and replace it. Now you'll see that I have the same icon that I started with the guides without them, but it's actually going to maintain, you know, the guidelines, so you know it's not going to get all stretched out and look funny. Now that's basically what you're going to do to set some, you know, set guides and re-sign it. Let's close this out, and I just want to go over a little something else because when you're using Draw 9 patch, it's not going to be all as easy as such as making that button there. You're going to have some stuff that's going to have wording. You're going to have stuff that's going to have maybe it's going to be shaped a little bit different, have rounded edges. So you're going to have a little problem with that as far as setting the guides. So I'm going to go over real quick something that has words, which I've found to be like one of the biggest problems when I first started out, to figure out how to not get the words all blurred out. So I'm going to use the notification bar that you actually seen me make the last video. Okay, now let's go all the way to the right hand side, and we're going to set the initial right hand side guide, right? I'm going to go about, you don't have to go all the way from edge to edge. You basically want to leave a little space in between like it is there. And now this bottom part, since this is really long, a lot of people think you have to go all the way from one edge to the next. You really don't. You could actually start from somewhere where the tip of the arrow is on the right hand side and then start your way across. If you hold down the button and just slide your mouse over, it'll keep making the guide, and it's a little bit easier. Okay, I'm going to keep going across. I'm not going to go all the way to the other end because it's really not necessary. As long as you have another point for the top mark to be, you're fairly good. But I'm going to go all the way to maybe the S of the word notifications. Okay, and a little bit more. Okay, that's about good. Now, if you want, you can always bring this out a little bit more just so you can actually see the whole thing. And I want to look for like a center point, which I'll use that there. Now, I'm going to give you a little example of what I mean, why this makes it a little bit difficult. Because if you try to come right up in the middle, you're basically, if you look on the right hand side here, you're going to see the letters are stretched out of proportion. So you don't want to do that. Now, you also don't want to go straight to the bottom, because you're going to get something that looks like this. If you look on the right hand side, you can see the bottom one. It has a big piece on the bottom and a smaller part on the top. So you're also going to want another one somewhere on the top to even it out. Now, it may still look a little bit funny, but this actually is going to work for you. Okay, it's gonna look fairly good on the phone. I mean, you're not going to have any problems with it. This is basically set. I'll save this. Okay, I'll save it, and it's actually going to go back to my desktop. Status bar closed. Okay, let's say there, and now my status bar has got it's got the guide set up for it. Okay, now once you do this, you're going to follow the same steps as far as dragging it into Eclipse. And, you know, like I said, right-click on Hello Activity, Android Tools, Export Unsigned Application Package, and it's going to create a Hello Activity zip on your desktop. Once you've done that, you're basically set. Thank you guys for watching. Man0456 .9 PNG guide. Hope it works for you guys and helps you out a little bit. If you have any questions, let me know, because this is a little bit of a headache in the beginning, but once you get it, it's fairly easy. Just takes a lot of work. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.